Hey, ever just, wish you could start your Monday feeling like you totally crushed a workout routine, even though you didn't even look at your gym bag all weekend?
Yeah,
That's kind of the magic, I think, behind this whole weekend warrior idea.
right.
And our listeners, want to know if it really holds up. Does it work?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of buzz around it.
Right.
But also some, healthy skepticism, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So let's dig into this research you've shared with me and really unpack the science behind this whole weekend warrior thing.
Okay.
Like, does it actually deliver on these health promises?
Yeah. One of the things that jumped out at me, at least, was how one of the articles kind of almost immediately was challenging this idea that, like, if you don't work out every day, that's it.
Yeah. It's like that go hard or go home mentality that a lot of us have kind of been taught when it comes to fitness.
Right.
And it was really interesting to see that research is now suggesting that it's more about the total amount of exercise we get.
Okay.
Rather than how many days a week we're actually spreading it out on.
So it's more about hitting that 150 minutes a week.
Exactly.
A moderate to vigorous activity.
Yeah.
Okay. So, why should someone listening even care about this?
Well, I think
Why does this matter?
it's really empowering to realize that, maybe you don't have to cram in a gym session every single day.
Right.
And maybe you can say goodbye to that, nagging feeling of, oh, I should be working out.
Yes, I should be working out.
Exactly.
And instead just enjoy my weekend.
Yeah, this research really suggests we can ditch that kind of, cookie cutter approach to fitness
Yeah.
and find what truly works for us long term.
Okay.
And for many, that flexibility, of the weekend warrior method can be a game changer.
Totally. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits for a second, because one article kind of throws around some, big claims about, reduced risk of heart disease, diabetes, even some cancers.
Right.
But, what's the catch? What's the fine print here?
Well, the really exciting thing is that, studies have shown that weekend warriors, when they're hitting those weekly activity targets, that 150 minutes,
Right.
they actually show similar health advantages compared to those who are exercising more frequently.
Wow. Okay.
So it really highlights that it's about quality and quantity.
Okay.
It's not just, how many days you're working out.
Right. So it's not like you're a couch potato all week and then you try to do this 8-hour gym marathon on Saturday.
Definitely not. That's a recipe for a disaster.
Right.
I think, smart planning is essential, gradually increasing that intensity.
Yeah.
Picking activities that, make sense for you.
Right.
And most importantly, listening to your body to prevent those injuries.
Yeah, totally.
And, one of these articles had some great tips on, designing a balanced routine that blends, cardio and strength training and even flexibility.
It's interesting because when I think about this whole thing, it's not just about hitting the gym.
Right.
This one article kind of pointed out, it's kind of like a whole lifestyle shift.
Absolutely. It's about making those conscious choices throughout the week.
Yeah.
Are you properly fueling your body?
Yeah.
Are you staying hydrated?
Oh, yeah.
And, even things like fitness trackers, they can actually amplify the benefits of those weekend workouts.
Oh, interesting.
Because you're seeing...
You're kind of keeping track of it.
Yeah. And you're keeping track of the other elements too, like your sleep.
Right.
How much you're moving during the week.
Okay.
All those elements are crucial regardless of how often you exercise.
So these are things we should all be kind of paying attention to.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say, someone listening to this is like, all right, I'm sold. How do I actually do this? How do I become a weekend warrior? How do I actually make this work? And not turn my Saturdays and Sundays into these crazy 8-hour workout days.
Planning is key, wouldn't you say? It's like approaching any big project, You don't just jump in without any kind of roadmap.
Yeah.
It's the same for your workouts.
Okay.
Having a clear structure really helps you maximize that time and stay consistent.
So no more winging it.
Well, a little spontaneity can be fun, but having a general plan helps you stay on track.
Right.
Remember that 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity we talked about?
Yes.
That could mean 2 75-minute sessions or maybe 3 50-minute ones.
Okay.
Whatever fits your schedule.
Right. So it's about kind of figuring out how much time you actually realistically have.
Exactly.
And then kind of working back from there.
Yeah. But what about what those workouts actually look like?
Right.
What is a well-structured plan?
Well, This is where the magic of a balanced approach comes into play.
Okay.
The goal is to incorporate cardio, strength training, and flexibility each week.
Okay, so you gotta have all three.
You want a well-rounded approach.
Okay, so paint a picture for me. What does that actually look like?
Okay, so let's imagine you're aiming for 2 workout days.
Okay.
On one day, you could focus on cardio and strength training.
Okay.
So think like a 60-minute circuit at the gym, mixing treadmill intervals with some body weight exercises.
Okay.
On the other day, maybe you opt for a longer bike ride, a hike, maybe a dance class.
Okay.
Followed by some yoga or stretching for that flexibility component.
That sounds pretty, I mean, first of all, that sounds kind of fun.
Right. Doesn't sound like a drag.
Exactly.
And it sounds pretty doable, honestly.
It is. And the beauty of this approach is its adaptability.
Yeah.
You can adjust the intensity, the duration, even the types of activities as you progress.
Yeah.
It's about finding that personal sweet spot, not forcing yourself into some kind of rigid mold.
Right. And one thing that I think one of the articles really emphasized, which I thought was really smart, was, they were saying listen to your body.
Right.
What does that actually mean?
Yeah, it means being attuned to how you feel during and after each workout.
Okay.
Don't hesitate to modify an exercise if something feels off. Take breaks when you need them.
Okay.
Pushing through pain, that can lead to setbacks. Whereas honoring your body signals, that's what's going to keep you moving forward.
So it's okay to scale back if something feels like too much.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's always better to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Remember, consistency is key.
Right.
It's better to have a few shorter, more manageable workouts than to burn out after one really intense session.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, finding that balance between pushing yourself and respecting your limits, that's key.
So how do you keep track, how do you track your progress if you're if you're doing this weekend warrior thing?
Well, fitness trackers and apps, those can be incredibly helpful.
Okay.
They offer data on your activity levels, your heart rate, even your sleep patterns.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you're kind of getting this, holistic picture.
Wow. So you can really see how it's all kind of connected.
Exactly. But even beyond gadgets, remember to celebrate those non-scale victories too.
Right.
Every workout you complete, every healthy choice you make, that's all a step in the right direction.
It's interesting because it seems like this whole weekend warrior idea, which kind of at first glance might sound like, oh, you're settling or something.
Right.
It's actually kind of empowering in a way, because it's you're saying no, this is how I'm choosing to do this.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of your health on your own terms.
Yes.
It's about finding a sustainable path that integrates with your life.
Right, because it has to work for you.
Exactly.
It can't just be some, cookie cutter thing that you saw on, whatever. This has been super, super helpful. So we've talked about, kind of debunking this myth that you have to work out every day. We've talked about how to actually make the weekend warrior thing work.
Right.
But what about the rest of the week?
Yeah, that's a great question.
What about those other 5 days?
Yeah.
Do they even factor into this whole equation?
They do.
Okay.
They absolutely do.
Okay. So we're back, and we were talking about the weekends, but now I'm kind of curious about those other 5 days.
Yeah.
Those weekdays. They kind of make up, most of our lives. So
They do.
do they even matter?
They absolutely matter. Think about it like, a financial strategy.
Okay.
Those big weekend workouts, those are your kind of big investment. But it's those consistent everyday choices, throughout the week that really build long-term wealth.
Right. So it's not just about those 2 days and then forgetting about it the rest of the time.
Exactly.
It's about kind of weaving it in.
Yeah, it's about weaving healthy habits into, the fabric of our everyday life.
Okay.
It's recognizing that even when we don't have time for, a full-blown workout,
Right.
those small choices can make a huge difference.
So what can someone do? What's something actionable that someone listening can do to make those weekdays count, even if they have, a crazy busy schedule?
Well, I think one of the simplest yet most effective strategies is to just incorporate more movement into your daily routine.
Okay.
Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Walk or bike to work if you can.
Yeah.
Park a little bit farther away from the entrance.
Oh, yeah.
All those little bits of activity, they really accumulate.
Right. You're kind of sneaking in a workout without having a workout.
Exactly.
Cool. What else? What other tips do you have?
Well, nutrition plays a crucial role as well.
Okay.
Are you fueling your body with nutrient-rich foods throughout the week?
Yeah, does it make a difference?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Not only does it benefit your overall health, but it also helps support recovery from those weekend workouts.
So you're saying having balanced meals
Exactly.
throughout the week actually matters.
It makes a difference. Yeah, loading up on those fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains.
Okay.
And don't underestimate the importance of staying hydrated.
Yeah. Water's important.
It's essential for maintaining your energy levels, for optimizing those muscles, just feeling your best.
So, what about those days, and this definitely happens to me, where it's I can't even think about going for a walk. It's just I'm just trying to get through the day.
Right.
And eating healthy is whatever I can grab,
Sure.
What about those days?
Well, I think it's important to remember that this whole journey is about progress, not perfection.
Okay.
Some days are going to be more challenging than others,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Okay.
The key is to just not let those off days completely derail you.
Okay, so you're saying don't beat yourself up about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
One off day isn't going to undo all of your hard work. Acknowledge it and then just get back on track as soon as you can.
Okay.
Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
This has been great. So we've talked about how you don't have to work out every day. We've talked about how to kind of make this whole weekend warrior thing work for you.
Right.
What's one thing that you really want our listener to take away from this whole conversation?
I want them to remember that there's no one size fits all when it comes to, health and fitness.
Okay.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
And that's okay.
Okay.
If this weekend warrior concept, if it excites them, if it speaks to them, then I encourage them to explore it further.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This has been so great. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the weekend warrior.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, we'll catch you in the next one.